First, I'd like to start off by saying, in the immortal words of the great philosopher Katie Hinken, Wabadoo.
Wabadoo.
It's been a minute, boys and girls. Thank you guys for letting me take some time. Had to handle some stuff. I have to be in and out every now and then. Life is life. So that being said, 4 years ago, I'm sitting in a sushi restaurant with my best friend and his wife. And my best friend, one of the most eloquent speakers I know, somehow convinces me to start a wrestling podcast. 4 years later, here we are. Welcome to Wrestling with Egos, the unofficial 4th anniversary of this show. My name's Patrick, and I am joined each and every week by, first and foremost, said best friend in the entire world, Mr. Brian Kriego. And of course, this show would not be complete without the true comic relief of the show, the only person that can actually claim on this show to really be a comedian, our boy from across the pond, Katie Hinken. Gentlemen, how are we?
Very good. I, for one, am very excited for the return of the Pat. Return of the Pat.
What are we doing?
Return of the Pat.
Oh
yeah.
my God. Oh my God. Yes.
That's one of my favorite 90s cuts right there. And you just
Hell yes.
on his head.
Between that one and This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, It Takes Two. You put those three on repeat back to back.
But I thought It Takes Two was 80s.
Oh, you might be right.
I thought Rob
might be like 88 or 87 or something like that.
Yeah, I thought Rob Bass was 80s. Anyway.
All I know is I'm not a sucker, so I don't need a bodyguard. Anyway. I'm going to take credit for 4 years of shenanigans and boot panties and
Say it right.
Times. No.
Say it right.
The word is shenanigans.
No, say it right.
I'm not saying it right. You can say it right all you want, but the word is shenanigans.
KD, say it.
Is it shenanigans?
Shenaniganery.
Oh my God.
Shenaniganery. Okay.
Shenaniganery.
I like that.
But yeah,
basically, the main reason is I had so much fun, Patrick, with you on your earlier podcast, Audibly Offensive Radio, that when the opportunity came and I discovered that you could do this you could conduct one for free instead of having to pay for it. That was kind of the driving force behind it, because it was for a school class for doing my teaching certificate, a technology class that I took, and the professor told us about what is at the time Anchor, and for our eagle-eyed listeners last week, when I ran down all the platforms that you can get our show on, I didn't say Anchor anymore because Anchor has been bought out by Spotify. I got that notification during the week.
Anchor, no more.
Oh.
So however you might be watching us or listening to us, whether it be on the YouTubes or any of our podcasting affiliates, Spotify, Apple, Google, Anchor,
Amazon.
I did Anchor. Crap. Let me try that again. Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio. Thank you guys so much for making us a part of your wrestling infotainment for the week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the bell for the notifications, 5-star review. Definitely subscribe. Please subscribe. Please. We love you. Don't forget to, if you have questions, comments, anything, if you're on YouTube, it's right below you. If you're not, wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. Or you can tweet any of us, Wrestling X Egos, on Twitter for the whole show. I'm at Rant Mode On. Brian's at bkriego15. KD, is it KD Comedy Inc?
KD Comedy Inc. Only on Facebook and YouTube and that, though. I don't have the twits. I do not have the twits.
Okay.
Well, if you tweet us and you want KD, we'll make sure to send it along to him so you get a response from him. How about that?
Yeah,
I will get a tweet soon. No, I have been meaning to.
His answering service. We'll get back to you.
Yeah. Leave a message.
He's kind
and
of
he
a
will
big
return
deal.
your call as soon as possible. Wabadoo.
Exactly. It doesn't beep at Wabadoos.
So we're going to talk tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the last 4 years of our show. Katie will chime in what he can because he is the newest member of the team. But Brian and I will reminisce on some of the more poignant, exciting, and fun moments of this show. And then we're going to get into some WrestleMania talk because we're 2 weeks away from showtime.
Yep.
And, things are starting to take shape. And it's definitely not too early to talk about the show, mainly because there's stuff to talk about. Whereas the last 2 weeks, it really wasn't. And then we're gonna break out an old favorite that we haven't done in quite a while. Why? Because Brian and Isaac got tired of doing it. There is a
Not that I got tired of doing it. It's just that nobody wanted to do it with me because I'm always creating this stuff instead of whatever. Keep going.
No, I would create and Isaac would create, but what generally happened anytime we would do trivia is that there a certain other character on this show, a certain maniacal, sadistic egomaniac
Yeah, here we go.
would continue to win.
4 years of this crap.
No, I'm not. I am not putting him over at this point. I'm just saying he's a maniacal bastard, but he
At
keeps
this
winning.
point, he's not putting him over. But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, exactly. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We haven't gotten to that part yet, but
We're
we
big
will.
on foreshadowing here at Wrestling with Egos, if nothing else.
Oh yeah, we are definitely big on foreshadowing. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Brian, if I were to say favorite moment in the history of this show, one answer, go.
I'm not going to give you the obvious answer because I'm sure that you're sitting on the obvious answer because I can tell from the look on your face for our YouTube people. For our podcast listeners, Patrick is chomping at the bit to give his favorite moment, and I'm not gonna deny him that pleasure. I'm gonna go in a different direction.
But Brian, real quick, I'm just gonna make one motion, and for you podcast listeners, you're just gonna miss out on it. But am I looking in the right direction?
You're not doing what I thought you were. You're not saying what I thought you were going to say. I'm referencing I'm thinking you were going to say something else. But
all right, well then I'm clearly not. So go right ahead. Talk about the obvious then.
So, the one that always pops into my head when people say, "Well, what's been one of the most funniest things that's ever happened on the show?" And I go back to the episode where you and RJ and I are talking about. I forget what the match was that we were talking about now.
We were talking about Starrcade.
Yes. And RJ's seminal quote. I mean, and RJ's had a lot of them on this show. And shout out to RJ. We love you, brother. We're thinking about you.
Hey, let's put it in context before we get to the line. So we broke down the entire Starrcade 98 or 97. I always get it mixed up. It's 98.
Is this Sting versus Hogan?
Yes.
And this individual interfered in that match.
No, he interfered in the match before it, which was Buff Bagwell and Lex.
That's right. That's it. I'm a little fuzzy on the context.
We're breaking down Starrcade 98 match for match and talking about how it was what should have been a great pay-per-view in theory and on paper, and turned out to be an absolute dumpster fire. So we get to this, and we're discussing Buff Bagwell and Lex Luger. And there have been the long matches that were on this pay-per-view were the worst. So we get to it, and I was like, okay, RJ, I'm just going to say this just to get your reaction. This is the longest match of the night. It's however long, like 14, 15, 16 minutes. And then I just went, Buff Bagwell and Lex Luger. And his response was, oh, good God.
And he went off on a diatribe for a long time about the match. And the coup de grace of his diatribe was, and just when you thought or just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, they got the great idea. This match isn't bad enough, so let's send Scott Norton out there. And Patrick and I both just about lost it. We both had to, like, you know, take a time out to, like, get water or something so that we could, like, continue with the show.
I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe.
I guess we had a
that
proper
night,
energy and conviction behind it.
RJ almost killed me that night.
I've never seen him so worked up, and and to be fair, I mean, RJ is a passionate wrestling fan, and all of us are. You get our dander up about something, you know, we're gonna go off on tangents really quick. I've never, in the 2+ years that RJ has been associated with the show, seen him that angry, that worked up, that, you know, beside himself about something as he was about they saw fit to send Scott Norton down and interfere in the match.
I believe, to steal a page out of Brian Kriego's playbook, I believe the $500 word you could use here would be apoplectic.
Yeah, he was
that word.
That's the one that immediately pops into my head, which is where I thought you were going to go, but then I saw you look behind you as if something was hanging behind you. So, Patrick, why don't you go ahead and give us the story about that? Because I know I can see you're dying to.
Oh my God! If you watch our show on YouTube, you see it every week in our intro. It is one of my favorite moments of this show. And I remember everything about it. I was still living at my ex's house.
Man.
I think I know which bit you've on about. I think I've seen it.
You absolutely better if you've watched the beginning of this show at least twice. You know it. Brian, RJ, and myself are discussing the very first Stadium Stampede match. We are literally talking about the point where Hangman Adam Page is chasing Sammy Guevara on a horse. And
that was a wonderful moment.
And I comment about how, son of a bitch, Sammy Guevara is really, really fast. Now, at this point in the history of our show, I was using a green screen behind me, and I put all sorts of crap behind me. This particular night, it was a picture of the Sith throne from Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. And then the green screen fell on me.
Because he had it rigged on a curtain rod or something. It was hanging over the curtain was behind
hanging over a curtain rod, and it slipped off. And you can literally go back and watch the intro, and it just falls on me and just drapes over my shoulders. And because it's green, you still see the image of the throne like on my shoulder.
The only thing that would have made it 10 out of 10, because right now it's a 9.8 out of 10. It would have been a 10 out of 10 if it had fallen over your head and just obscured you. And thank you for clarifying what the image was, because I thought it was the throne from Game of Thrones.
No, it was the Sith throne from Episode 9. Although using the Iron Throne would have been sick too.
It would have actually been cool rather than using Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. I've been very vocal about this on my other podcast.
I'm more of a Star Wars nerd than I was a Game of Thrones nerd. And trust me, I was a Game of Thrones nerd too.
Game of Thrones is good.
That is one of my two favorite memories. The other one happened this year. What happened in the last 12 months? I can't remember if it was the end of 2022 or if it's happened this calendar year. We were doing a GOAT discussion on Hulk Hogan, who, by the way, recently it came out. I cannot remember who Brian Gewirtz was doing a podcast with. But very recently, Brian Gewirtz, the former head writer of WWE, talked about how Hulk Hogan was trying to change the finish of the match with The Rock at WrestleMania 18. 18. Hogan didn't want a job. Shocker there.
What a surprise. And he's also, I don't know if you've heard, flirting with Scientology.
He's also a racist bastard. But moving
He
on.
is that too. He
Yeah.
is that too.
Anyway, anybody that follows this show, anybody that knows me, knows that one of my 3 favorite wrestlers of all time is Sting.
It's Sting. That was a really weird
Exactly.
Tony Schiavone.
So we're going through all of the matches that Hulk Hogan lost on camera. There was like 26 of them. Only 26 of them. Five of them on the list. And we did it, by the way, in order of the least screwy finish to the most screwy
That's right,
finish.
because I was doing research for that, and I remember finding the list.
Yep.
And I couldn't believe that somebody had the time to compile it all. And I'm like, well, this will help us.
Oh yeah, and we went through it, and 5 matches with Sting, and I lost my mind. I absolutely look. There are a lot of times where I'll comedically go on a rant, hence the Twitter handle rant mode on. It's kind of my catchphrase, kind of my one of my many gimmicks on the show.
The gimmick.
That might have been the most legitimately pissed I've ever been doing a podcast.
I'm struggling to think of another time.
Huh?
I said I'm struggling to think of another time when you were that angry.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of the times I'm angry, air quotes for you podcast listeners, but it's feigned anger. Much like, the arrogance that I have on this show is all just.
Oh yeah, same like me too. My podcasting and when I'm on stage as well. Sorry, doing a comedy show. My arrogance is totally put on. It's not real at all. Not at all. None of it is. Not in the slightest.
In related news, water is wet.
Right.
Water is wet.
Yeah, but
I can agree with that.
I have never been that legitimately just flabbergasted as I was with that moment in the history of this show. But yeah, those are like, if you ask me like my favorite moments of the show, those are definitely my top 2. My third and my fourth both have the same name to them. Golfing with Egos.
Yeah. Those are hilarious too.
Volumes 1 and 2.
My favorite moments on this show, generally speaking, have to do with it's a touchstone I keep coming back to on this show, is my education about this sport. Because again, I've told everyone this many times. I was a very narrow-minded, I'm not going to get out of my box wrestling fan for the longest time. And doing this show has opened my eyes to all the great wrestling that there is in this world to consume. And that's what I'm the most thankful for, that we've been able to do this for this long, because I get to see people like Kazuchika Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi. And,
segue, perfect segue. I have to jump in. Or, Brian, like Brian said, his worldview of wrestling has been exposed to, other promotions and other countries. And he's been able to see legendary wrestlers like Kazuchika Okada and the newest member of the WWE Hall of Fame, the Great Muta.
Everybody bow down.
Dude, don't get me started on Muta. Holy crap.
I heard somebody, just to go a bit like with that, I heard somebody make a point earlier that I'd never thought about, is that they don't have a single referee in the Hall of Fame.
You're right.
It's weird.
They could have at least put, the Julian Hebners in there.
Yeah. They're the first one.
Is there a reason for that, or do you ever think there will be?
No.
I think I heard a reason, but you don't know. It's probably not even a real reason anyway.
My reason would be the same reason that there's no baseball umpires in Cooperstown. There's no football referees in Canton.
True.
Because, referees.
Exactly, yeah.
Referees should be seen and not heard.
Yeah. That's kind of what the person was saying that I was listening to. That apparently WWE think, because to give it that more legit feel, like you said, referees normally aren't involved in the Hall of Fame or involved in the match per se. You know,
Right.
obviously in wrestling it's very different. They're crucial.
Yeah, even though they are an integral part of the story,
Yeah.
they're an integral part of the production. They're not an integral part of the story, which is why commentators are in the Hall of Fame and referees aren't.
Sure.
And you don't get much like reactions anymore, like you used to get, like Heaven, reacting to Triple H. There used to be a few of them, wasn't there? But you don't get any kind of like personality in them anymore.
The only one that's got any personality left that I can think of in WWE anyway is Little Nate. Charles Robinson.
Charles Robinson's a freaking god, though, dude.
Yeah.
Charles
I
Robinson
still there.
Charles Robinson is absolutely outstanding. So, yeah, for me, those are the moments that have made this show fun, and there's been several other ones. Us torturing each other with homework assignments, where I made both Brian and RJ watch the King of the Road match from the very first WCW Uncensored, one of the single worst matches in the history of professional wrestling.
I should go back and find the text chain that I was sending them as I was watching that match, and I ripped them a new one, or I ripped Patrick a new one specifically.
Oh yeah, and then RJ gave me the receipt, because for my homework assignment, he gave Brian this great classic match. It might have even been a Kenny Omega match, which, knowing RJ, probably was. And he gave Brian this great match. He went, and for you, Patrick, the Kennel from Hell.
Oh, wait, is that the Al Snow
boss man in the steel cage with the Hell in the Cell over, and the Rottweilers that were peeing, pooping, and getting it on at ringside.
Yeah. I mean, we'll take away the dogs from that, though. That would have been a cool thing to do. I'm surprised they never did that again. The cage inside the cell.
They did. It was called the Punjabi Prison.
Yeah, that.
Well, we've talked enough about stuff like this. Let's actually get into, because I mean, Jesus God, it's 11 o'clock and we're literally just now starting the real part of this show. Holy crap!
Hey, gang! Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate you. You're listening and watching Wrestling with Egos, your source for wrestling infotainment this week in the ramp up to WrestleMania. So thank you.
Yes. So we're now going to power through this, because I think we started actually doing the show 20 minutes ago.
Probably accurately.
Like that.
I don't really know, because I mean, I'm looking at my timer.
They don't come to us for the brevity.
No, I'm looking at my timer from when I actually started recording, and we're looking at 52 minutes and 5 seconds. But
yikes.
A lot of that was, stuff that you guys are never going to see.
I think it'll do like half an hour still, though, to be fair.
Yeah, just three of us, the three of us being stupid, like we always are, which is great.
But we're wrestling fans. Comes with territory.
Exactly. So here's my question. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. How have you guys felt with the booking and the build to WrestleMania this year, excluding the main event? Thank you. Thumbs in the middle.
I feel like they're leaving a lot up to these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll go to that, actually.
So Brian and I are in the middle. Katie is in the middle, and thumbs up.
There you go. Yeah.
It's like playing Wavelength or something. Wonderful.
All he's doing is what my daughter does when she's trying to tell me how tired she is when I say go to bed. Kiddo, how tired are you?
It makes sense.
Halfway between thumbs down and thumbs in the middle. Yeah. But generally for the kiddo, when it's thumbs in the middle, if I get her to lay down, she'll be asleep in 5 minutes.
Yep, that's accurate. I feel like most years, even the pandemic year, plural, when they were in Tampa the 2 years, they had a lot more of the card filled out by this point.
Yes.
And I would have to go back and double check that. But I can only name you 6 matches that are scheduled to happen right now. I think.
Let's take a look at them. We've got these are just announced matches, not speculative, but announced. And we're ignoring anything that might have happened tonight on SmackDown because we're just not watched. We haven't watched it.
I may have watched the start of it.
Well, if you know of something, chime in.
No,
I think Cody and Roman.
Yeah.
Right.
You've got Edge and Finn, Hell in a Cell. Yes, please.
Which is
Hell
cool.
yes.
Yeah.
You've got Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a barn burner.
And it had no build though.
No, none. None.
But I would argue it doesn't need it. And the reason it doesn't need it is because of Rhea.
Exactly.
He is the one that's been doing all the heavy lifting on that.
It doesn't need it, but.
And then you've got Bianca and Asuka. Bianca and Asuka for the Raw Championship. And you've got Omos and Brock.
Yep. And Seth and Logan Paul.
And Trish, Lita.
The 6th woman, yes. Trish, Lita, and Becky.
I don't have to announce yet, though, is it?
Well, that's 7 matches. I mean, it's a 2-night event, so that's probably only half the matches for each night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty safe to say that if they don't do it tonight, they're probably going to set it up on Monday. KO and Sammy versus the Usos for the tag titles.
It looks like it's getting set up mainly on SmackDown, to be honest, from what I've seen so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it coming.
All right, so pieces are being moved into place tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And beyond that, I don't know, because we right now don't know the status of Bray Wyatt. We don't know if Bray is going to be good for Bobby Lashley. We don't know. There are speculations that he's walked out. There are speculations that he's injured. The key word here is speculation. Yeah. We don't talk about speculation on this show until we actually know something.
Well, you've also got John Cena and Austin Theory. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
I got a problem with that one, but I haven't been here the last 2 weeks, so I don't get to comment.
I haven't got a problem with it, with the build so far, as long as Austin Theory ends up winning. Because so far, it's just Cena burying him in that one moment. Yeah, buried the hell.
As if he hasn't done that enough already.
Nah, Cena never does that.
I'm just talking about Austin Theory. Because that promo was the most egregious thing I've ever seen in my life. That is worse than any promo The Rock ever cut, just emasculating someone.
Yeah.
John Cena absolutely destroyed him. And if Theory doesn't win, his career's over.
That's one of the only promos, and I'm proud to say this, but it doesn't take a brain surgeon to say this about that promo. That's one of the only promos that's ever been cut that I didn't have to go back and watch again to make sure that I understood. Because there was no misunderstanding what Cena was doing there.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't do Austin Theory any favors, because I'm starting to come around on him where I respect Austin Theory for the work he's putting in. I used to think he was just, he's Vince's guy and he's getting all these breaks. But especially now that Vince is gone, he's putting in the work. He's going out and wrestling every week, and he's great on the stick.
He is. Yeah, he used to not be. He's getting so much better. But he's always been great in the ring. I mean, hell, he was a former Evolve champion.
Yeah, so I will definitely give him his props. But
you know what I love about him? Heel 101. He makes me want to pay my money to see him get his ass beat.
Yeah.
And
that's trying to be a heel, a proper heel.
And I've talked about it on this show ad nauseum. If you can do that, and I call just that part of being a heel, I call that heel 101. If you can do that, you're good.
Yep.
If you can make people want to see you get your ass handed to you by the good guy,
But this kind of goes to the speculation and the theories that have been out there over the past several weeks about they're investing so much time in everything happening with Roman, the Bloodline, and Sammy, which has been, master class. Don't get me wrong. That the rest of the card is somewhat suffered unless you got your program in the hands of somebody that can take the ball and run with it, like I say Rhea Ripley has done in her feud in her thing with Charlotte. Like Edge and Balor have done. I mean, the Edge and Balor thing has been simmering, and then all of a sudden, holy crap, Hell in a Cell.
And Ray and Dominic as well. That's been quite good.
Oh my God, that has been beautiful. I mean, granted, sometimes it's a little uncomfortable, but it has been so good.
I'm assuming it's going to end up with like Dem at Mania with like Ray's career on the line. Since he's gone into the Hall of Fame as well now.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And I think he'll lose as well.
I honestly think he will too. I think we might be looking at the end of Mysterio.
What better way to go?
The hesitancy with which we're talking about a lot of these matches is kind of backing up what we're saying about, kind of we're in the middle on it because, like some of these matches, like, yeah, I can't wait for it, but then there's other ones where it's like.
So let me ask a different question using the same scale. It's pretty much believed that the main event for night one is going to be the Usos versus Sami and Kevin. It is a fact that the main event for WrestleMania Sunday will be for the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship between Roman and Cody. Given those two matches and those two matches alone, how excited are you for those?
There we go. Yeah, see, that's the main thing right there.
And I'll tell you why. My heartstrings have already been plucked quite a bit to this point. And there's this little tiny voice over here in the back of my head that says, what if they maintain the status quo?
Yeah.
Because all the tea leaves right now are pointing to the Usos losing to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes defeating Roman Reigns. But what if neither one of those things happens?
You got the 1,000-day reign. Like that's not far away, is it? Or not?
Right. And I'm just thinking like
that's a big deal for a 1,000-day reign, especially in this era. The last time someone held the championship longer than 1,000 days was Hulk Hogan in the early freaking 80s. KD wasn't even born.
No.
So I mean the idea of getting Roman to 1,000 days gives me pause in terms of maybe Cody's not gonna be the guy.
I think he could still. Just if that happens, it might be a bit further down the line, maybe.
SummerSlam,
possibly. I don't know when he's.
If you're gonna put the title on Cody, and it's not gonna be WrestleMania, it's got to be SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think they will do WrestleMania, but
unless Money in the Bank is after the 1,000-day reign.
Well, no, because I know that's one thing for sure. They've already announced that Roman Reigns won't be at Money in the Bank.
Okay.
So he's not advertised for it, but that can always change at the same time.
Well, at the same time, the night after, or the Raw after, the SmackDown after, Cody could win the briefcase, and then surprise,
I was just thinking that, and then hey, here I am.
Got yeah.
Yeah. The Bloodline storyline has been told brilliantly, to the point you can make the argument it deserves a freaking Emmy Award. Holy crap. It is, and I will go out on this limb, and this will be a hill I want to die on. It is the best written storyline in the history of wrestling. It is even better than Sting versus the NWO. Let's just hope to holy God they don't butt screw it like WCW did Hogan and Sting at
right now
Starrcade 98.
Putting it up there with Hogan and Sting. I'm putting it up there with Hogan and Randy.
Oh yeah.
I'm putting it up there with Omega and Hangman. I'm putting it up there with
Sean Taker, 25 and 26.
Yeah.
There you go. Or even like early days Sean and Taker as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put it up there with.
Wait, how does it compare to the main one? No, the main one you got to think about, really, I suppose. Austin Vince.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I would say that all of those great storylines that we mentioned, I still think the Bloodline is better. And here's
because there's a lot more moving parts with the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Screw the moving parts. Screw the moving parts. Screw all of that. There has not been a storyline that has ripped out people's hearts the way this one has.
Right.
I mean, look at any shocking heel turn where somebody turns on their best friend. Sean did it to Marty. Ciampa did it to Gargano. I'm not going to keep listing them, but those are two major ones. Nothing out of that was truly heartbreaking. What we've seen in the last 5 months, from October to now, the build up to War Games, the aftermath of War Games, then the Rumble, and now the Rumble Elimination Chamber, and now this. I have never had my heart ripped out by wrestling.
Yeah, there were moments of Ciampa Gargano that broke my heart, but not to the extent with Sammy and Roman and all this stuff, and Jey Uso and so on and so forth.
This has been masterclass, and we don't get this hell ever in this generation of wrestling. So the fact that we have it, it's just like, wow, can we just continue to hold on to this? And like I said, I won't be very broke up if they decide not to take the title off of Roman.
Yeah.
Because you'll just be continuing, quite possibly, the greatest storyline ever written.
I'm interested to see if Cody gets it. I can kind of see him actually being on both shows a lot, because he's on SmackDown like again tonight. He's already doing double duty most of the time.
Yeah, I mean,
it's clear the man wants to wrestle.
Yeah,
I mean, that match with LA Knight last week was a nice little body of a match.
I like the fact that LA Knight's still being used.
And how ironic that several years ago everybody was shitting on the guy because he was Stardust.
I still liked Stardust. I was always a fan of him.
I'm not gonna lie, I did too. I thought it was kooky as hell, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, man. He committed to it.
So since we don't have the full card, and we'll talk about this next week or 2 weeks from now when we really talk WrestleMania and give predictions and all that stuff. But just based on what we know now, what's the one match that you think is going to steal the show? If there is one, because that main event could be something else something else too.
I'll call my shot right now. What Finn and Edge are sitting down and planning for Hell in a Cell. It could very well go down as one of the best and most unique Hell in a Cell matches of all time.
I wouldn't doubt it, because you have a great mind in wrestling in Finn Balor, and then you have a freaking genius in Edge.
It's not gonna be paint by numbers, which is what some Hell in a Cell matches unfortunately are.
I don't agree with you in your match selection for Show Stealer. There are two ridiculously talented athletes that are going to be facing each other, and some crazy bullshit's going to happen during that match, and it's Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul.
I thought you were going to say that, then
Well, look, okay.
I agree with you. There's one of those things where there's no wrong answers really at this point.
Yeah. Logan Paul gets a lot of flack, rightfully so, for being a douchebag, and two, his matches, although great, he's had plenty of time to train and prepare for that specific match. going through all the stuff with other people, like, in place of. Excuse me.
He hasn't had the training that other people have had like for years and years. He arguably needs that,
Right. He's literally getting look, I'm giving you a crash course on how to get through this match.
Yeah.
But they'll give him that same treatment for Seth Rollins. And Logan Paul is a ridiculous enough athlete to be able to do all the shit that Seth Rollins can't, that Seth Rollins can do and will do.
Seth Rollins is so over right now. It's like,
oh my god,
so over.
Honestly and truly,
Survivor wearing clown shoes. So
hey,
I hated them boots.
I loved it. I loved it. I'm like, those are like red Mega Man boots, man. That's awesome.
I was so scared they were going to become like a regular part of his gimmick. I was so scared.
Oh, I would have laughed my ass off. And you know what? He could have pulled it off.
Yeah, he could have.
I lost my train of thought. Anyway,
that's what happens when you're doing a podcast from a sauna. It's hard to focus.
Oh boy,
not a sauna. It's not a sauna. I'm just not at home.
For anyone listening and not watching, Patty is literally naked with a towel on him. You can see steam coming up everywhere, all around him. There's Korean men walking behind him in the background and everything.
They're not Korean. They're Russian. I'm in a Russian bath.
Oh God, okay. I really misjudged that.
Yeah. Ivan, chill. No, not right now.
In the wrong place.
Maybe later.
Want to chill.
Depends on how much you give me.
Oh my God.
Anyway, moving on.
Let's get the vodka.
Does anybody have anything they want to add to satisfaction or dissatisfaction of the build to Mania?
Well, I would just say I think the match I'm honestly looking forward to the most. I think my match of the weekend is going to be the tag team title match. I think, is the serious answer. I think that's going to be the match of the weekend. But my match that I'm looking forward to is Lesnar versus Omos. I'm not even lying. I cannot wait for that.
That's going to be a train wreck.
Yeah, it's going to be a glorious train wreck. There's going to be limbs flying around. There's
another match I'm looking forward to because it's going to be a train wreck in the most painfully beautiful way possible. And I don't know what's happened on SmackDown tonight, so I don't know who's truly in it, but I'm going to name the match like I think it's going to be. And what I would love to see, Gunther defending the Intercontinental title against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus at the same freaking time. Because, hey Brian, let's see how well in the 4 years of doing this show, how well you know me. If, in my opinion, if we get Gunther, Sheamus, Drew for the title in a triple threat match, what is the first rule of this match? How do you win or lose this match?
First man to die loses.
Ding! Yeah. First gotta die loses.
Wait, it's a triple threat though, so does that mean that two of them gotta die?
Okay, well, first two guys to die lose.
There you go. Okay, yeah.
May the odds be ever in your favor. That's gonna be just brutal.
Yeah, it will be.
We thought Sheamus and Gunther at Clash of the Castle was something.
Yeah, which it was.
Now you're gonna add Drew, who hits just as hard as those two crazy bastards.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
He's not opposed to taking a beating himself either.
No. Hell yes, sign me up.
Power through, sir. Power through.
I'm trying. Luckily, we're getting toward the finish line. So
bring the energy.
Well, it's nut cutting time, as JR is famous for saying. I
must have missed that one.
I believe Patrick has to introduce us to a certain recurring character on this show.
Oh yeah. Hang on just a second.
But he's not going to get his penis out, is he?
Oh.
No. I'm not going to do that, but I am about to be. I am about to be a dick.
Say hello to my little friend.
So it has been a while since we have broken out the world of Wrestling with Egos trivia, and it's come to my attention that our friend KD has yet to meet my alter ego.
Oh,
And by and when I say alter ego, I truly mean an emphasis on the word ego. Because if we're doing trivia tonight, there's only one person in the world that KD can find himself paired up against, and that would be our reigning and defending champion, our paragon of virtue, our record breaker, our foundation, our strength, our rock, our pillar, the straw that stirs the drink, one good God damn handsome man, and the Lord and Master of the Colosseum. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Tetum, the ego that ate Manhattan.
T-Toma.
Tetam, the ego that ate Manhattan.
Tetum. Okay. Good to meet you, Tetum.
Good to meet you, so I can beat you.
Please
Brian!
don't suck on my Tetum.
Well, that remains to be seen. There have been a lot of people that have come on this show that I have hoped that would be able to give me a glorious death, but all have failed. Multiple times, I might add.
Yeah.
It seems like in a fight to the death, you can only fail it once, really.
It's just, no. Because you see,
metaphorical.
Okay.
As Tetum, as your benevolent champion, I'm able to resurrect the dead. It's just one of my many powers that I have.
I see. Okay. I feel honored to be in your presence, in all honesty.
As you should. Mr. Kriego, would you please give us the rules for those of our audience that have not seen the gloriousness that is Tetum?
For the uninitiated, we are playing Survivor style, which means I'm going to give these gentlemen a category for which there is a multitude of correct answers. And I have all of the correct answers listed on this paper in front of me here.
Yeah.
And we go back and forth until someone gives an incorrect answer. It is then up to the opponent to give a correct answer to win the category. And I have 3 categories in front of me. It is best 2 out of 3. And that's how we'll declare the newest champion of Trivia Mania.
And of course, in the event of a draw, title cannot change hands. Title can only change hands on a pinfall or a submission.
Correct.
Or if we by some miracle manage to do all the answers.
Well, then we're going to have to do part 2 down the line somewhere because I only have 3 categories prepared.
It's never happened before. It's come close, but it's never happened.
All right. So the first we need to see who's going to go first before I give you the category.
Challengers first.
Okay, that's fair. So we are going to start this evening, KD, with a list of the WrestleMania opponents of The Undertaker.
Okay.
I have them all written down in chronological order. You do not need to give them to me in chronological order.
Thankfully.
And if you happen to, and I'm giving a hint away on this one, if you happen to give me a person who's wrestled him multiple times, that counts as one answer. You can't say the same.
Yeah.
And I will tell you the Mania that it happened at, just so you're in your headspace about what's there and what's not.
Okay.
So, Katie, action is to you. Can you name me one of The Undertaker's many WrestleMania opponents?
Real quick, Mr. Commissioner, how many are there?
There are... 24.
24 answers. All right.
24 correct answers.
Okay, I'll
Mr.
start.
Hinkin, action to you.
Start off with A-Train, as I believe it was at the time.
A-Train is the correct answer.
Well, then I will finish that one off and finish off that match with the Big Show.
Well,
it's a big man.
Hey,
WrestleMania
Brian,
19 for that match. Big Show.
And you know what did not happen in that match?
That is correct. That did not happen in that match. All right, we're off to a rousing beginning, gentlemen. Katie, back to you for another Undertaker WrestleMania opponent.
Okay. Shawn, I'll go easy one.
Can you say that again?
Shawn Michaels.
Yes, you are correct. WrestleMania is 25 and 26 for Shawn Michaels. Oh, no. There goes the cap.
Return of the Cap.
Danger. Oh, screw it. It's all the way across the room now. That's no good.
Oh well, mistakes were made.
Yeah.
I'll finish off the other easy one because he's wrestled him 3 times. Triple H.
Triple H, that is correct. At WrestleMania 17, 27, and 28.
WrestleMania 17, quite possibly the greatest WrestleMania of all time.
Quite possibly.
Okay. Lesnar.
Back to you, sir.
Brock Lesnar.
Yes, Brock Lesnar. I thought you said something else for a second, but 30 at WrestleMania 30 for Brock Lesnar.
All right, let's start getting in the weeds here. Giant Gonzalez.
That one written down too.
Yeah, he's down here. WrestleMania 9. God awful, but it's part of the ledger, so I had to include it.
Mm-hmm.
Katie, back to you.
Roman Reigns.
At WrestleMania 33 in Orlando, Roman Reigns. Patrick. Or Tatum, I'm sorry.
Tatum.
Jake Roberts.
WrestleMania 8. He wrestled Jake the Snake Roberts.
1 sec. Roberts. Okay. Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt at 31. You are correct, sir. The barn burner, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed.
Kane.
At WrestleMania's 14 and 20. You are correct. Katie, we're back to you.
I was wondering about that. I wasn't sure if Kane had. I mean, I assumed he must have, but I couldn't remember. Edge.
WrestleMania 24 for Edge. A fantastic match.
Mark Henry.
Oh.
Mark Henry, 22. Oh. For a bonus point, not that it matters, Tatum, can you name the stipulation of that Mark Henry match?
Casket match. Mark Henry was escorted to the ring by Sean Daivari.
Correct.
Why?
That was a casket match.
But he had Daivari with him. I don't remember that.
Yeah, Daivari was Mark Henry's manager. This was right.
We could do a category of Mark Henry's managers, and it would take a while.
No, he hasn't had that many.
He's had a few.
With my young count.
But it was right. It was right before the Hall of Pain really started.
Yes. All right, Katie, we're back to you.
Okay. Randy Orton.
Yes. At WrestleMania 21.
Wabadoo. John Cena.
Yep.
Oh, of course.
34. John Cena. God bless Santino.
Yeah. Oh, I'm running short now. I don't know about you.
Action's back to you. You've still only said about half of them, believe it or not.
No, it was me, wasn't it, next?
You just said John Cena.
Yeah, I just said Cena, so it's KD.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. KD, sorry.
I should have gone along with that. The best match of all, let's be honest, the best match, AJ Styles.
Very good. The
Yard of bonus.
cinematic match, the boneyard.
Yard.
Remind me when this particular question's done. Just remind me entrances, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So action to me and need an answer.
Correct. Because
Big boss
Katie
man.
just said AJ Styles.
Big boss man.
At 15.
You're gonna ask me the stipulation on that one?
No, we don't need to tread on that ground again.
Oh, but we totally can because of the end result was really cool. It was a Hell in the Cell match, and then the Brood hung him.
Oh, that was that. I remember that.
That was freaking dope.
It was. I even remember when I was watching it, I was quite young, and even then, I remember thinking, "Oh, you can see the back though, where like the wire or whatever, you know." That's the only problem with that. You know what?
Actually, KD.
I've only got one left on here, and I'm not completely sure about it. King Kong Bundy.
KD pulling it out there. King Kong Bundy, WrestleMania 11. Because he was not at WrestleMania 10. That's one of the ones that he missed.
Sid.
Psycho Sid at WrestleMania 13. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 answers remaining. 6 correct answers remaining for opponents of opponents of the Undertaker at WrestleMania. And Katie, the action is back to you.
Oh wait, one just come to my mind actually that I'm actually sure about. CM Punk.
CM Punk at
God,
WrestleMania 29.
I forgot about that.
We're getting down to the wire here.
We're getting down to the wire.
I've gone further than I thought.
To the point where I think this category might become a draw.
Hey.
I don't know. I'm really.
Here's my reference to the next one. Flair.
Yep, Ric Flair. WrestleMania 18.
We're gonna say Tyler Breeze then. I'm like, what? No, Tyler Breeze. Sorry,
Ty Dillinger.
Ty Dillinger. Yeah.
The only number that matters is 10. I'm always gonna have a soft spot for him because he's from Niagara Falls, which is near where I used to grow up. KD, back to you. We now have 4 correct answers remaining.
Really not sure about this one, but I'd be surprised if it didn't happen at some point. I don't know. Mick Foley?
Unfortunately, that is an incorrect answer. Wrestled a ton, but not at WrestleMania. So, Patrick, you need one to take the category.
Batista.
At WrestleMania 23.
I had one more. I want to. Because I couldn't remember if this one was right or not. Snuka.
Snuka was the very first WrestleMania opponent he had.
Oh wow!
So you guys got them all, with the exception of Jimmy Snuka at 7, Diesel at 12, and the very confusing match he had with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 32.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
The Hell in a Cell match. You got all the other ones. So a fair play to both of you on kicking that category's ass.
I think we did rather well, Teetum.
I agree.
All right. Next category. I will tell you how many correct answers there are here in a moment, but I'm looking for wrestlers who at WrestleMania have been played to the ring by a live performer. Not talking about, they just hit my music, that kind of thing, and they play the music and you just hear whatever. I'm talking about there's an actual band, singer, whomever, playing the person to the ring. In my research, I came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 people who have technically been played to the ring by a live performer.
Can we pause for a moment? I obviously can't go cheat because I'm doing the show on my phone. I have to pee.
Okay, go ahead, and we'll commiserate while you're gone.
Okay.
I'm gonna think. Oh.
Yeah, it gives you some time to think. And
Yeah. People that have been played to the ring. It's a weird one. That is like.
It kind of like you know.
It has to be WrestleMania.
How much are you paying attention to WrestleMania? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Does it have to be WrestleMania when they've been played to the ring then?
Yes. It has to be a WrestleMania specifically.
Okay.
So if it happened at a takeover, it doesn't count. If it happened at, Breaking Point, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
If it happened at the parking lot of the Giant Eagle up the street, it doesn't count.
Oh, that was my other guess as well. Damn it.
While Patrick is taking a bit of a breather, I, in all seriousness, would like to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who watches us on a regular basis, even if you're checking us out for the first time. Thank you very much for consuming our content and supporting what we do. It's a labor of love. It really is. That was the biggest reason why I suggested to Patrick 4 years ago that, hey, we should really try this, because I've got the avenue to do it now, and I think we could have a lot of fun with it. And here we are, and we're having a lot of fun with it. Patrick, you said before the next category, though, you said something about entrances. What did you mean by that?
I saw, and I can't remember who did it. I saw it on Facebook, and I forgot to share it with you guys. Someone did a breakdown of the length of time that both The Undertaker and Triple H spent making entrances at WrestleMania. Both of them over an hour.
Wow.
Combined, like...
No. Like all of Taker's combined entrances over an hour. All of Triple H's over an hour. Both of them had one entrance that was longer than 7 minutes. It was Taker against Cena.
Self-indulgent comes to mind.
It was Taker against Cena, and it was Triple H against Sting at WrestleMania 31.
Was that the one with the
Terminator?
What was the one where he came in with Stephanie on the stupid tricycle?
That was the one against Batista? That was the one against Angle and Ronda.
That's right. I'm like, okay, you look ridiculous right now. But that's
hilarious. People on the not as bad as the photos that came out of the people on the back of like the little truck things with the handles when they were in. I think it was Sadie with the really long ramp.
Yep.
That was 23 in Detroit for Cena.
Right. So we're so entrances, WrestleMania entrances play like wrestlers who made an entrance at WrestleMania played to the ring by a live act.
Right. And Patrick, you are up 1 category to nothing. If you take this category, it's a win for you, because we're doing best 2 out of 3. And I'll save the other category for another time.
Right.
There's a good chance of that happening.
I have to be honest, KD. You better win this. You better win this one.
I don't feel confident on this one.
I have one in my back pocket. I'm letting you know right now. Action to who?
Katie went first on the first one. Patrick, you go first on this one.
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton was played to the ring by Rev Theory. I unfortunately don't have the Mania name, but the number Mania that it happened at. But
it was 30.
Right. Okay. I mean, some of these, when you hear them, some of them you'll be like, oh, yeah, that was that one. But I did not put the numbers down for this category. But Randy Orton is a correct answer. Katie, action to you.
Triple H?
Triple H is the only person this list has been played by 2 different bands.
Oh.
Drowning Pool and Motorhead.
Yes. Motorhead did it For 17, I know that for a fact, and then Drowning Pool did it for
18.
Yes, 18.
That's surprising.
Motorhead did it for another one as well. I want to say 20?
21?
20 or 21.
Yeah, one of the two.
No. Yeah, it was one. Yeah, it was one of those. I want to say it was 20 though, but it doesn't really matter. Action Back to Me. Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt was played to the ring by Mark Crozer.
Ah.
At WrestleMania 30.
Yes.
Okay. I swear I remember this happening. Edge? Oh no, I don't like the look of that.
Incorrect.
Oh no.
Then I'm gonna, just to be an ass, I'm gonna pull. I'll win this with the one in my back pocket. Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor was played to the ring by Salt and Pepper at WrestleMania 11.
Was
that
out of curiosity?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Stone Cold one.
Huh?
No. I'll give you the rest of the list because some of these I forgot about too.
Hey, Brian, can I see how many I can get?
Sure.
I got 2 more. Cena?
No.
DX?
Nope.
Yes. Well,
DX was on this list. I didn't include them because the DX band is just a bunch of musicians that, I mean, we can include that if you want to, but see how many of the rest of them you can get.
I mean, I don't know what your definition of a band is, but I think it's just
something
a bunch
with a
of
name
musicians.
recognition. When I see these names, you know, of bands and singers, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I would have put Sean. I would have answered with Sean, and I would have argued with that because he was played with it by a live act.
See, I was thinking about Sean, but at the same time, I was thinking I don't know if it could be him because I knew he sung his own song, so it'd be really weird to do.
All right, so let's see how many I can get. Rey Mysterio played the ring by POD.
Correct.
Taker played the ring by Limp Bizkit.
Correct.
Oh.
One of my favorite songs of all time, CM Punk played to the ring by Living Colour.
Correct.
I was thinking about that. I couldn't remember that happening though.
I lost my shit when they started playing. Ronda Rousey.
That was versus Undertaker, as I
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey was played to the ring by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Rhea Ripley was played to the ring by Ash Costello.
That was one I was thinking of as well, but yeah. But I couldn't remember when it was.
Sasha Banks.
Sasha was played to the ring by Snoop.
Snoop Double G.
How many more?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 more from my research.
The Rock?
According to Wikipedia.
The Rock?
What did you say, Katie? Yes, The Rock was played to the ring by Flo Rida the first time. Yeah. The first time he wrestled Cena.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
They did another reason I love Wild Ones so much. That's one of my favorite Flo Rida songs. They played it. That was one of the ones. And then Rock came out and gave Flo Rida dap, and then Wikipedia counts it because then they played, of course, the if you smell and all that kind of stuff, but it counts because they were out there singing it, and the Rock came out in the middle of Wild Ones.
I was just trying to think more people, like that you'd imagine would have had a special entrance.
Jericho.
Hogan?
Jericho has not been played to the ring live at a Mania.
Oh, right band, wrong wrestler. The Dudleys.
The Dudley Boys were played to the ring by Saliva.
Right. I was thinking because Saliva also did one of Jericho's entrances, King of My World, and that was another pay-per-view.
That was like also Given or something like that.
Didn't they also do Batista's as well?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
But he was never played to the ring live by Saliva, which was very unfortunate because Batista's theme is one of the greatest ever.
Give me what I want.
Let's see. I'm probably gonna.
I want your spittle all over the microphone, but that's
God,
what
yeah.
I want.
They definitely got it.
Let's see.
There's one of these that if you don't say it, you're gonna be really mad at yourself for not saying it. I'll just leave it at that.
I don't know if this one would count or not. Sting?
It was not in my research. I mean, I know they had like the drummers and stuff like that, but I didn't count that.
Like I said, I don't know if that one would count or not. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it because the show's running long anyway.
Right. So the ones that we did not mention, Big E was played to the ring by Wale.
Oh.
Very recently. It was either last year or the year before. The Godfather was played to the ring by Ice-T at WrestleMania 2000.
Jesus Christ.
Pimpany, easy, man.
It's not.
And the one that Patrick is probably going to be pissed about that he did not say, because I remember how you lost your mind when we watched this happen live. Shinsuke Nakamura was played to the ring by Nita Strauss.
I think I remember that, the lady guitarist. She was really good.
Yes. She killed.
Yeah, I lost my freaking mind over that one because that one was badass.
Now, do we not want to do the last topic?
Category would have been because we'll just put it in our back pocket for another time.
Okay.
Yes, we will put it in our back pocket for another time when yet another poor, unfortunate soul gets caught in the
maelstrom that is Tatum.
Yes, the maelstrom, the devastation, the nuclear fallout.
The Tatum-nado.
Yeah, the Tatum-nado. Yes, I like that. I
like
that a lot. Thank you.
That's your special.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hinkin. You are a worthy adversary, a gracious loser, unlike some people on this show. Just remember.
What do you mean?
Just remember one very important thing, boys and girls. As it is today, as it is with every other day, past, present, and future. As sure as the sun rises and sets, as sure as there is wind, as water, earth, and fire, as sure as Alabama football sucks, as sure as Brian is infinitely smarter than I am, except at wrestling trivia, just understand one thing and one thing only, one universal truth, two universal truths. Number one, that no matter what happens when it comes to trivia on this show, no one in their right mind has arms long enough to box with God. And the second and most important universal truth, take the song Winter Wonderland and change the words, because there's only one Patrick Swafford.
I mean, there might be more than one.
Tatum out.
That Tatum disappearing then and then Patrick coming back with it. Okay.
And scene.
In the lanes, I was listening.
There's only one.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that either.
Oh, you're talking about just the melody of it. I'm like, what in that song has to do with you besides nothing?
I went to football channels. I thought you were saying, there's only one Patrick Swafford.
Yep, that's exactly what and you know what? And that's exactly where I ripped it off from. I ripped it off from the Brits, because they do it in football and they did it for every fucking Ricky Hatton fight ever.
Yeah. We like making noise. That's one thing I've noticed.
The only hint that I will give you about the third category that we did not get to do is the research for that category. I was not prepared for how difficult it actually was. I mean, it was... I thought, I'll just bang this out. And I sat there for like 30 minutes going cross-eyed, trying to like write down all of the correct answers. And I'm like, geez, I'm going to make him earn it on this category.
Was it top wardrobe malfunctions at WrestleMania?
No.
Oh,
That
okay.
would have been that would have been a comparatively shorter list than this one.
So let me ask you this,
Maybe.
just out of curiosity, and as the music's playing and it's telling us that we got to get the F out of here. Over under correct answers. Over under 25.
Over, like far over.
Over under 100. Oh my God, we're close.
I did do one in the past like this when I was doing my comedy quiz.
It might
and it
be a
was like
push.
top 250 films.
It might be, yeah. It might be. I mean, if I counted every answer here, we might be near triple dig. So I mean
Dude,
that
you could seriously make that question a three-way dance.
yeah, you could. So I'll like I
Chase.
said, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna say any more because I don't want to ruin all the research that I slaved over.
When Isaac's back on, like nearer to WrestleMania, that might be a little nicer thing to throw in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, it's about that time. About that time. About that time. I'm going to go ahead and turn in for the night because I'm tired.
I'm with you.
And at the same time, you know, a great champion, a great warrior needs a great night of sleep just to reflect on his victories, rest upon his laurels, and bask in the ever-present glory that is his unbreakable winning streak.
Here I thought he had left for the night. He's back.
Oh hell no. He never leaves. I just turn it off and on.
Oh,
And
the
apparently
camera
he
couldn't
turned it
even.
off because
Yeah, the camera couldn't even deal with it. It was
well,
like, oh, it's,
I'll assume the
Using
mantle.
larger words.
There it
it's
is.
back.
He's back. I thought I was gonna have to sign us off for a second, which I would have gladly done, but please.
The power of Tatum lactated and your screen froze.
Oh, well, alrighty then.
To be clear about it.
And we're killing Brian. So that being said, we're definitely gonna go
It's
ahead and
happening
go
far
ahead and
too
get out of here.
often lately, gentlemen.
Yes. There hasn't been a show recently where Brian hasn't cracked.
I used to be the unshakable intellectual savior of the wrestling masters, but the last month plus, it's just been forget it. Like,
oh yeah,
the slightest provocation, KD, I'm a mess.
KD, KD, just like nature and evolution, he finds a way.
Yeah, he's cracked the code.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We will touch base with you guys next week. Will I be here? Why? We're damn too close to WrestleMania, and yeah, either WrestleMania.
Christmas.
Exactly. So I think it's a safe bet to say I'll be here the next 3 weeks at least because it's build up, it's Mania, it's the week after Mania. Yeah. Yep. We'll have plenty of fun stuff to talk about. Hopefully next week it'll be a 4-man show. So until Isaac gets back from his vacation of March Madness, for my worthy adversary this week, Katie Hinken, and for the game master, the smartest cat in the room, my best friend, and Tatum's worst nightmare. Well, no, the man who calls Tatum his worst nightmare.
It's fine.
Tell me I'm wrong. My name is Patrick Swafford. Again, you can catch the show at Wrestling X Egos, wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, 5-star reviews, tell a friend. Spread the love. Because you spread the love, you get more Tatum. We get more Tatum, everybody's happy. Because wrestling conversations, wrestling trivia, and the ego that ain't Manhattan are all reasons that we love professional wrestling. We'll see you next week.
I didn't agree to these reasons.
Take care now.
Wabadoo.
Wabadoo.